Welcome back to EWI Tuesday. My name's Evan Tate. And last week we talked about playing major scales. Along with other things, we talked about an octave roller exercise, getting used to that. We also talked about the functions of the side keys, of these pinky keys, on the 3 on the left and 2 on the left, 3 on the right, excuse me. And we talked about playing all our 12 chromatic scales without the use of the side keys by using EWI fingering. Now, the EWI setup fingering, which is a very flexible fingering system for a saxophonist. All saxophone fingerings that you know work also well in the EWI fingering setup, but also certain scales, certain keys become even easier. And today, I want to touch on basically alternative fingering that you could use for pentatonic scales when you're soloing, when you're jamming, that normally wouldn't be available on the saxophone, but would be available on the EWI using EWI fingering. So just starting out, we'll deal with minor pentatonic scales because those are ones that really sound cool. It's the same as the major pentatonics, but it also gives a possibility because the similarity, of course, going to blues scales just by adding one note. But for instance, if you're just starting on C major, the C major pentatonic scale, respectively a minor pentatonic. So it's the same fingering that we all know from saxophone. There's no difference there. Once we go also, so there's certain keys that are basically same. C is the same. So C, or relatively speaking, I'll speak about minor pentatonics. D minor pentatonic works the same. And so G minor pentatonic. So as we know it on saxophone, is the same. Now, C minor pentatonic, you'll have their options. You could play, of course, with the saxophone fingering. But also you can avoid using the saxophone using EWI fingering. So instead of playing that E flat as 1, 2, 3, 1, and 3. So there's just one change where you could take advantage of that. Because if you're not so exact with using the right hand pinky key, like for instance, I'm a big guy, I have big hands, and so at first it took me a while to really pinpoint this upper key on the right hand side, because I was often touching the other key below it at the same time, and of course not getting the tone that I needed. But in case if you're still at that stage, or if you still want to have the flexibility, you could also work in using this finger as an E flat. And of course, this also works as a C. And so there. Now where it starts getting interesting, when I start going to F minor pentatonic. Here I could use my first finger, index finger on the right hand side, right hand, as an anchor. And there I have already the first 4 notes of the F minor pentatonic scale actually just taken care of. And then I have my other E flat fingering, my EWI E flat fingering to play it. So then I could play an F minor pentatonic scale quite easily. And then also I could raise, just get the B in there too. And if I wanted to play that blue note, playing that blues, F blues scale. And so there, that's when it starts getting interesting. Now when you get to B flat minor, there it gets also as interesting because then I could play the B flat as 1 and 1 or as this B flat, doesn't matter. My D flat is open, E flat, and my A flat, as we talked about last time, the A fingering plus the index finger on the right hand side, and then we also have this 1-1 B flat finger. So then it makes it easy for me to play a B flat minor pentatonic. Not that it's more difficult in saxophone, it's not, really it isn't. But then there's one place that gets it even easier. Let me just go into the sharp keys, for instance, like say going to a B minor pentatonic. Easy enough, no problem there. If I was doing an E minor, same thing as on saxophone. It's not complicated. And there, F sharp minor. And just as easy as it would be played on the saxophone as well. Gets interesting when I want to play C sharp minor pentatonic. It starts getting interesting with C sharp minor as I play. Because then I'm substituting there the my G sharp finger. So then I have another possibility to playing there. You know, it's like anything, it'll take some practice and to get used to them all. I mean, so this will be some ways in order for you to get to some scales easier this way. Now, on top of that, okay, the pentatonic scales and it's fine and good, but let's get back also to using the side keys for chromatic shifting. Like, I could be jamming on a tune, you know, when I'm playing E minor. And then maybe in the middle of my solo, I want to do a chromatic shift upwards. I could either play the F minor pentatonic and shift back down to E minor, or I could continue fingering the E minor pentatonic scale and then just pressing here to pressing the upper key on the left hand. You know, because as I said in last week's video, pressing that key will raise every note that you're playing a half step. Of course, the only exception here, if you try to use this side key with it, that won't happen there. Nothing happened there. You know, that's what I'm saying, because this also raises a half step. Same as the upper key raises everything up a half step, the lower key lowers everything in a half step. So then I could still finger an E minor pentatonic. And so then I would lower everything in half step playing an E flat minor. I mean, so then basically with the same E flat minor pentatonic fingering, I can play E flat minor, E minor, and F minor. So then I would want to practice first playing basic a C major scale. And then to press the upper key on the left hand side or the right hand side, I could practice them both. So I'm anchoring my pinky finger on that key while I'm playing the scale. And I could do the same with the lower key on the left hand. And then again, as I mentioned In last week's video, you can press both upper keys simultaneously, then raises everything up a whole step. So again, using the C major fingering, but then to pressing both keys simultaneously, I'll be playing a D major scale. Letting one go. Does a D flat scale, and then letting both go. And then back to my C major scale. Again, depressing the lower key. Playing a B major scale, depressing the middle key here on the right hand side with this one. Then I'm getting a B flat major scale while fingering C scale. And then, last but not least, depressing the lowest key, lowering everything down 1.5 steps, then playing an A major scale. I practice suggesting getting familiar with those side keys by being able to chromatically shift what you're fingering up a half step or a whole step, or down a half step, whole step, or even a minor third. And again, when you're going to use this, how you're going to use this is all up to you. And I'd say first thing with anything, if you want to first get familiar with this, familiar with the instrument, familiar with using these fingerings, play a blues in F, and something like that. And first, experiment, with the F minor pentatonic or blues scale on that, and just to see, just to get a taste of how easy it is to fingering the EWI and that key, and experiment with it, and then. Mix up your solo play, play along with some standards and see what licks that you normally, how would you finger them actually on the EWI. This is all for today. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Please like this video and set up the notification button so for the next installment of EWI Tuesday that comes up, and plus other videos I have on my channel when it's about improvisation and saxophone technique. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything, suggestions, please write them down in the comment section. I always read all the comments, and I'll be very happy to hear from you. So stay tuned and see you next week.